guys, and welcome back to the Green Witch Homestead. So, season is moving along at a rather abrupt pace. We are April 3rd today, and our technical last frost date for this area is April 12th. I usually go about April 16th just to be safe, but it is time to put potatoes in the ground. I'm also going to be starting peas and lettuce down here in the market garden. So as you can see, I've got the potato rows. I've started uncovering them. What we've done, as we're uncovering the rows, I'm laying the potatoes down on top approximately where I want to plant them, and then this side's already been planted. And basically what I do, I just move the potato there and I just push back in, and you see it's really nice wet soil and straw. Make a little hole, pop that potato in there, bury her up, and we're good to go. And to do that down the row until we got all our potatoes in, and then we water it in. Alright, so we got all the potatoes planted in. I have not watered them yet. So around this area we have weird springs. We either have a combination of monsoon spring where it's raining every day and it's a mud puddle, or we have bone dry springs where we go weeks without rain at all. Basically that means for me, now that these potatoes are going to be in the ground, I'm going to have to come down here every day that it doesn't rain and make sure that the beds don't dry out. We do have a hose line that runs down here from the well, so we're good on that count. I have running water and it's easy to do. The biggest thing when you're doing potatoes like this is you don't want the beds to dry out. If the beds dry out, you're going to lose your plants. We'll just keep an eye on them and watch them, and when the plants get about 6 inches above the soil, then or above the straw, then I will take more straw and bury the plants again. So if you recall, this section of the market garden is going to stay covered, and what we've done is I've got my pea netting up and I've got holes. We've come through and we've burnt holes in the fabric where I'm going to plant the peas, and I'm just going to stick them in the ground. I'll come back through and I'm going to run a hard wire along the top here to support this netting on. It's not quite as sturdy as I thought it would be. I'm going to do a little experiment with the lettuce. I'm not comfortable planting it down here yet so I don't want to waste it all. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and put a couple holes in. I'm going to plant one of each of types of the lettuce and watch them for the next couple days. So those 3 are in, and that's basically how they'll sit in there, and we're going to watch them over the next couple days and see how they do. Pretty much this stage of the market garden is done. Potatoes are in the ground. They're completely soaked. I don't know if you can see it from here. Peas are all planted all along that back row there. And then I've got my lettuces, my 3 little test lettuces are in the ground there. So on this market garden area, we've got peas in that first section there. And then I'm going to have bush beans growing on the inside of that row. And then these next 2 mounds will be tomatoes. And this outside edge row here is going to be lettuces. And then I'll probably do kales and collard greens and stuff like that down this one. As for the potato mounds, we've got red Manitobas here. It's a nice big red-skinned potato with a white flesh. We've got them in these first 2 rows. This row here is Kennepics. I like them. Not everybody does. They're a really thin-skinned potato. And then the last 3 rows are just your classic russet potatoes. Now, I'm not going to be doing carrots in the market garden this year. Carrots require a really deep, soft soil, and this is nowhere near that yet. So potatoes we're doing because we can do them in the root stout bed method. But any other root vegetables we're not going to put down here. Definitely not this year, probably not even next year. It's a lot of work still that needs to be done to this. So we had a little bit of an adventure in the garden this weekend, and you may notice a few things different. So as you know, we've had the pigs and we've been rotating them around. There was a mistake with the fence. We had it wedged in the corner, and they rubbed up against the fence, which caused it to lean. And that leaning caused the corner piece to lift up. So they were able to slip underneath the fence. Now, they are very well trained and they were very well behaved and they were very easy to get back in the fence. They got into my garden. So they did a little damage to my garlic bed just by walking through it, but they did not touch any of the plants. None of the bulbs got broken, so we're good on that count. This bed here was cauliflower, and as you can see, it's completely empty. I've now planted carrots there because it's too late to put cauliflower in again. Over here, this was more onions, and as you see the little tracks down the center, I had kale planted down the center there. And on this onion bed over here, I had broccoli planted down the center. Now you can see they've managed to push this over, and you see the little footprints. They walked all the way down the row and ate every little broccoli plant. My cabbage, fortunately, survived because she's tucked up here under cover. They didn't get in there. They got those. I'm not super concerned about it, all honesty. I can do broccoli again in the fall as well as cauliflower. Important things like the onions and the garlic, which it's too late to plant again, they didn't touch those, so I'm not concerned. They also did not get into my lettuce at all, which is nice. Not sure why. I liked the brassicas, they wouldn't eat the lettuce, but apparently they don't. But here's the fun thing, and this is something that my mother is going to find hilarious. So a long time ago, across the street from us was this nice lady named Mrs. Perrault, and she grew tulips. And I'm not 100% certain. I think she did shows with them. They were prize tulips. I don't remember. They may have just been tulips that she liked to grow. However, I was a sweet, innocent little girl, and I wanted tulips for my mother. So I picked all of her tulips. Now, why that's relevant is because this year I put tulips in my garden and the pigs got out. So this is what's left of the one tulip bed. I have two that still had their bulb attached that I replanted, and they may or may not bounce back, and I had one there in the corner that they didn't dig up and is just starting to break the surface. This bed has now been planted with radishes. And over here I had all the way along the outside edge of this bed, and then this little corner was all tulips, and they've dug them all up. A lot of them, these ones I got replanted, so I may see a couple of them bloom. I guess payback for picking all of my neighbor's tulips when I was a little girl. Now my pigs have eaten mine. We are almost to the point where we can be planting out the whole garden. I'm looking forward to watching everything grow and sharing it with you. Hopefully next weekend we'll be going to get our compost soil to put in my new beds for planting the tomatoes out. I hope everybody is getting ready and enjoying this season of rebirth and renewal. Everything is slowly greening up and lushing out, and it looks beautiful. Got lots of plans for how I want my garden to look this year for attracting customers roadside wise, and I've got lots of plans for putting the cut flowers in on this section here that the pigs have cleaned out. So we've got lots of projects to do. We do them little bits at a time, and that's the biggest thing with being on the homestead, is you really don't try and do everything at once. You know, for me, we're coming into one of my favorite times of the year, which is foraging season. You can forage pretty much all year long, but I like to start early spring. Everything's breaking through the soil, and you get to see and locate where a lot of your foraged foods are going to be, so you can mark them in your mind and on your maps so you know where to go to harvest them when it's time. I'm super excited about morel season this year. It looks like it's going to be a good one. A few people have already found some in our area. The wild gooseberries are starting to flower. The mulberry trees are starting to come into bud. We've got blackberries that are starting to flower. My strawberries, as well as the wild strawberries, are starting to flower. So it's getting exciting, and hopefully I'll be able to take you guys out on some foraging videos soon. The sun is setting, and I gotta go inside and clean up and get ready for dinner. I'm gonna go ahead and say goodnight to y'all, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you like my videos. Leave a comment down below, let me know how your gardens are doing. Just get out there and enjoy this beautiful spring. And for those of you up north who are still under the snow and in the cold, don't worry, spring will be here soon. That warm weather is coming. And don't forget, guys, get your hands dirty.